Welcome to Spicy Toast Gaming and our top 5 champions we want to see added to Path of Champions. If you enjoy the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Let's get into it. Starting off first with Sion. So this list is in no particular order, just the 5 champions I want to see. But first we have Sion. So Sion and all of his units, I think, are some of the coolest designs in the game, and I would love to see them added into Path of Champions. The way Sion works is it's all about discarding. So for Sion himself, it's when I'm discarded, grant your strongest ally Overwhelm, and then place me in your deck, and then he gets 1 attack for every card you've discarded this game. And so for star powers, it could easily just be something like when you discard a unit, place a copy of it back in your deck and grant it 1/1, or just grant it a certain amount of attack. That way you're wanting to discard your units, but then you're not actually milling yourself, you're not running out of cards, you're still placing a copy of it back into your deck. So that worked very well for Sion. But then many of his units just look absolutely incredible. I think these are, some of the coolest units in the game. So getting an entire deck themed around these cards in Path of Champions, I think would be absolutely amazing. Now, it would probably play something like a cross between Darius and Jinx. So it might not have the most unique playstyle, but I think it would still be quite fun. You'd have another higher cost champion, which I would like. I want to kind of move away from just being tempo, the winning strategy for Path of Champions. Like, we already have a lot of decks that do that. It'd be enjoyable to have some higher scale ramp decks that can really have fun winning in other ways. So I think Sion, and especially all of his units together, would be an awesome addition to Path of Champions. Next for top champions I want to see is Nautilus and a deep sea monster deck. So Nautilus, very fun card, and then the whole aspect of trying to go deep. So what deep means is all of the units get 3/3 once you have 15 or fewer cards left in your deck. It'd be very interesting for Path of Champions because you start off with a small amount of cards, and then you're constantly adding more, whether you like it or not, throughout the course of the game. And so it would be interesting how actually in the earlier battles, you'd be able to get deep very fast, and then later on you might struggle a bit more, and so you're always trying to have less cards in your deck if possible and cutting whenever you can. But I think you'd have a very unique playstyle. There's no other toss or deep mechanics in Path of Champions, at least not from the champions you can play. And so I think being able to bring that in will be quite fun, very good thematically. Who doesn't want to play with giant sea monster cards that, once you go deep, they all get buffed up? It would probably play slightly similar to Kai'Sa, where you're trying to get evolved, but I think doing the sea monster and the toss route of trying to get rid of your cards so that you can hit that 15 point and then you need to try to win before you run out of those cards, I think that would be quite fun, and I hope we can see Nautilus in Path of Champions. Next for top 5s, this one is a bit different. I would want to see any of the Ascended champions added as a champion for Path of Champions. Now, they all play very differently, but I think having a Ascended unit could be very fun. So if you don't know, all of these cards, these 4 champions here, they have a normal level up, and then they have a second level up of you've restored the Sun Disk, and then they get usually a absolutely crazy level of power, and they can just single-handedly destroy. So like Renekton here, he goes from a 4/4 to a 5/5, and then when he gets ascended, he goes to a 10/10. And so they all get very large power spikes. The Sun Disc, it's a countdown 25, and then when you level up an Ascended Ally, so that first level up, it goes up 9 rounds. This, I think, would be very fun. I think Renekton would be my choice for who would want to go with, but honestly, I'd like to see all of them in Path of Champions. I just want to see one of the Shurima Ascended get in there and have a deck built around leveling up and ascending and using that to win. Each one of these has all of their own support cards and units that could go with it. So I'm hoping that they start adding these in to Path of Champions. It'd be great to see one every patch going forward if possible. But I think these cards would be very fun. Renekton definitely would be my top pick of these lot, though, for the next expansion. Next up on the champions I want to see added is Udyr. So I think Freljord could use a very more powerful champion. They're kind of the weakest region in Path of Champions right now. Udyr with a deck based on stance swapping, and then his units being most of the shaman cards as well as the other stance swap cards could work very well. They could go something like Veigar or Veigar, where round start you create a 0 cost stance swap in hand, and so you're just using those throughout the game. Udyr, when you've played 3+ stance swaps, he levels up. Then you're able to get 1/1 for every one you've played. I think Udyr would be very fun, but also very powerful. And while normally I don't really care how strong a champion is going to be, I just want them to have a fun playstyle. I do feel like Freljord could really use a more solid champion. The ones we have right now, they're all decent, but it would be nice to have a stronger Freljord champion, as they are the weakest region right now. Last for the champions that I want to see added to Path of Champions is Viego. So I've been able to play Viego as a support champion several times and kind of built the whole deck around that. I even used that to go up and beat Aurelion Sol, and it was a lot of fun. And so being able to actually have him as a champion in Path of Champions would be great. There's 3 cards here that all deal with the Encroaching Mist, and so what I would think is much like Misfortune or Gwen, with every round start you're summoning a ephemeral ally. For here, round start, summon a Encroaching Mist. So what it is when I'm summoned, grant all other Viegos and Encroaching Mists everywhere 1/1. So every round, you're getting this ephemeral unit that's going to slowly be buffing up both itself and its Viego. Then Viego, very powerful if you ever played against him and you've seen him get leveled up. So he levels up, he steals the strongest enemy unit or kills it if it's a champion. And so I think playing with especially these 3 cards, but then you have tons of other Shadow Isle cards to support it, would be quite fun. His playthrough of against Aurelion Sol was probably my favorite playthrough versus Aurelion Sol with Viego. It was very good, and that was just using Lux, essentially, her deck as the support champion. So actually having a deck built around Viego, including star powers, would be a lot of fun, and he's probably the champion I'm actually most excited for them to add. Now, he is very powerful, which, while yes, that's fun, that's not necessarily why I'm wanting him to get added, but I could see that maybe they're worried about adding a champion that would be too powerful. The thing is, we already have champions like Jax and Diana that can end the game in 1 to 2 rounds. So having a champion that's very powerful, but the champion themselves is 6 mana, I think would be totally fine. So I hope that they add Viego to the game, but that's the last champion for the top 5 champions I want to see added. Definitely comment down below. Let me know what 5 champions you want to see added into Path of Champions. I hope you guys have a great day. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching that video all the way to the end. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe. We're putting out multiple videos every single day for Path of Champions content. So if that interests you, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and welcome to the channel. Have a great day.